Adam, we've talked obviously about death, unfortunately, and the aging population, but that brings me to the point, wellness and longevity are two areas which I think hotels are starting to capitalize on, but I think there's lots of opportunities there. And I know the whole health issue is something that you've put an immense amount of time into. And what do you think are those opportunities in wellness and longevity from a hotel point of view?
Well, first off, just to draw back to our discussion of loyalty programs and loyalty to hotels and too much choice, part of the problem with wellness is there's too much choice in terms of where hotels can get started. To summarize the need for this area is a quote I always say, which is, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. And my thesis is that hotels can serve a role as healthcare facilities to inspire guests and make them feel better. So that way they improve their wellness and they never need to go to hospitals, which will become sick care facilities where you do get sick, you do go to the hospital. But the whole point of wellness is to prevent you from needing to go to the hospital, barring acute cases. So where hotels can get started is, of course, the luxury hotels are already all doing this in some way, shape, or form. But I think it's important to expand wellness and make sure it isn't simply spa. The massages, the aromatherapy, that stuff is wellness. It does work to improve your health, but it isn't the only thing involved in wellness. And technically, eating well, eating good foods is wellness. It does improve your health. We all know this, but hotels need to keep innovating on the food front, which goes back to technology, because as you're innovating on the food front, you're dealing with more exclusive ingredients, which means you need to keep your purchasing and inventory systems up to par. So it does rely on technology that way. Everyone eats, everyone also sleeps. So where we're seeing a lot of this growth is in good sleep programs. So that can be something as simple as a pillow concierge, which is very popular now, blackout blinds, which are very popular and we're seeing everywhere, which is great. Reducing the noise on air conditioning and HVAC units, that's all going through as people apply a property improvement plan. Something as simple as putting herbal teas in the bedroom. Doesn't have to all be technology, but how are you sourcing those herbal teas? Maybe you have an on-demand sleep program where it's a robot that is the runner late at night. So you don't need to have a runner working 24 hours or during the downtimes in the middle of the night, but you have a robot that's attached to your operations platform and can feed those service orders that delivers those chamomile or passion flower tea bags that are part of your nighttime herbal tea program. So it is related to technology. Technology underpins it. We can get fancy with the sleep tech, where we have things like the Aura, the little ring that attaches onto your finger that monitors your blood pressure, breathing rate, snoring, all that stuff while you sleep, and you could charge that on an amount. You can attach a meditation app or a breathing program like Headspace that people can access via your hotel app and go through breathing exercises that calm you down, or meditation programs that calm you down. Or those can be cast onto the television, and you can put yoga mats to roll out in the hotel room so people can go through bespoke in-room exercises or do guided programs, whether that's live or just something that's pre-recorded. There's lots of opportunities out there in the sleep category, and that really harks back to what hotels are meant for, which is a good night's sleep. Can't deliver that, you haven't done your job. And that is emotional, where if somebody doesn't have a good night's sleep, they aren't coming back to your hotel.
That's very true. Yeah. That is very
I mean, I'm not sure how much further you want me to go into the longevity and wellness. We could go into some of the crazy supplements that all the crazy biohackers are taking. People are taking, 30 pills a day that are proven to extend your life. There's lots of things that are happening. For instance, these 30 pills, let's say, somebody wants to keep going with that while they're traveling or wants to try them out, even though a lot of them have long-term effects. But let's say in the near term, it does do something on a one-to-one level, but it's more or less placebo. So
Yep.
if somebody tries them out, how do you deliver that to the room? How do you deliver that in the restaurant? How do you automate that to make it a reality without incurring more labor, which we all know, based on what I said earlier, there isn't going to be any labor to deliver these things in the future.
Yep.
So you have to have good inventory systems, good procurement systems, connected into accounts payable, so that way it's all seamless.
Yep.
And then you need to have the marketing side and the ordering side, which is guest comes on site. How does a guest even know that you have a yoga mat in the room?
Yep.
Unless you tell them. How are you telling them? You can tell them through the hotel app. Great. How are you incentivizing them to download the hotel app? Little things like that. Then post stay, how are you asking them whether they use the yoga mat? You can send out mini surveys. There's some great companies out there that do post departure feedback and management.
Yeah.
So there's ways to do all this. And again, it comes down to process. You have to know where your hotel fits.
Yep.
Wellness for a Novotel is going to be different than a wellness for a Sofitel. That's simple as that. They're drawing in different guests. They have different CapEx to work with. And those different guests have different budgets for upselling opportunities in the wellness space. So underpinning all that, whether it's a 5-star hotel or a 3-star, you have to have the technology to automate as much as possible. So that way, when it does come time to rolling out whichever program you decide to apply, you can do so at a marginal increase to labor.